All right, welcome to this explainer. Let's just jump right into it because today we are looking at a really fascinating mindset shift. This comes straight from the source material developed inside the Ronin community, and honestly, it's the kind of thing that could literally redefine your bottom line. We're going to unpack their framework on integrity, broken promises, and most importantly, we're looking at a live rebuild of a retargeting ads offer. This approach shifts the whole paradigm away from just blindly throwing more money at ads, and instead, it focuses on recapturing the revenue that is already rightfully yours. So it's really all about stopping the bleed and building a system that actually protects your investments.
To set the stage here, the source material kicks off with this incredibly maddening real-world scenario that I guarantee you can relate to. So imagine a phone carrier promises to fix a billing issue for you. The expectation is set, right? But then, 4 whole days go by, and what happens? Absolutely nothing. No call, no text, nothing. You've been there, right? That feeling of just being completely ghosted by a company you're literally paying money to. It's incredibly frustrating. But as we unpack this today, we're going to see that this really isn't just about bad customer service.
So let's get into Section 1, the cost of silence. You see, when a company drops the ball like that phone carrier did, our first instinct is usually to just call it a time management issue or maybe a missed deadline. But it goes way deeper than that. This is a fundamental integrity problem. The source material highlights this absolutely crucial rule. The silence is what kills the relationship, not the delay. It really is that simple. Look, roadblocks happen in business, we all know that. But if something blocks you, the rule is you have to communicate immediately. Clients can totally forgive a delay if you just keep them in the loop. What they can't forgive, and what destroys trust instantly, is the silence.
Moving right along to Section 2, the ad spend leak.
Think for a second about how much we all hate being ghosted. Yet, the material points out something kind of wild. Countless businesses are doing this exact same thing to their very own warm leads. They are essentially paying money just to ghost potential customers. Let's look at the numbers. The ideal client profiled here is already spending between $5,000 and $20,000 every single month just to get that initial click. That is a massive pile of cash flowing out the door. It's practically setting it on fire just to get eyes on a product or service.
And this perfectly illustrates a huge fallacy that businesses fall into. When conversions aren't hitting the mark, the immediate reflex is, oh, we need to spend more. But the reality? You aren't underspending, you're under-protecting. The real issue is that they're leaving all that super expensive, top-of-funnel traffic completely unguarded. Without a real structured retargeting sequence to catch the people who showed interest but didn't buy on click number 1, they're basically just letting warm leads walk right out the door.
Which brings us to this massive shift in how marketing services can be positioned. The standard industry practice, what almost every agency out there does, is simply pitching more ad budget. Hey, give us another $5,000 and we'll get you some more clicks. But this innovative approach? It's about pitching recovered revenue. It takes the money the client has already paid to get that traffic and plugs the hole where it's just leaking out the back door. It is a complete game changer of a value proposition.
All right, Section 3, the Revenue Recapture System.
So how do we actually fix this massive leak in these multi-touch follow-up journeys? Well, the text introduces a high-level strategy built for this exact problem, the Revenue Recapture System. It's defined here as a framework for repositioning retargeting ads as recovered revenue instead of just another ad line item. Think of it like a giant safety net. This isn't just some new tactic, it's a total psychological shift for both the marketer and the client. You aren't asking them to risk brand new money on some unproven campaign. You're building a system to catch the cash that's literally falling off the table.
Which brings us to Section 4, the PPP Sales Method.
Now, knowing about the recapture system is great, but communicating its value to a client is where the rubber meets the road. The Revenue Ronin community actually teaches a specific tactical framework for this, called the PPP Sales Method. It's 3 highly logical steps: problem, pain, and profitability. This is exactly how you guide a business owner to realize what they are missing out on, without coming across like you're just pushing another generic marketing service.
Let's actually map this method directly onto the client's reality. First up, the problem. Usually they have absolutely no retargeting infrastructure. They're basically running blind after that first click. Next, the pain. This directly results in wasted ad spend and a leaking pipeline. And let's be real, it hurts to know you're burning cash. Finally, profitability. We position this revenue recapture system as the lowest cost per acquisition channel available to them. Why? Because the traffic is already warm. They already know the brand, making it incredibly cost-effective compared to going out and finding a brand new customer.
If you follow this typical funnel progression, suspect, prospect, lead, customer, advocate, businesses that are spending heavily on ads basically qualify themselves for this. I mean, if they're running ads and they aren't completely thrilled with their cost for acquisition, they need this funnel secured. They are already generating suspects and prospects. The revenue recapture system simply ensures those prospects actually turn into leads and customers rather than just disappearing into the void.
And finally, Section 5, the end of free audits.
Listen, if you're going to implement high-value systems like this, you have to protect your own time. For years, the industry standard was just giving away free marketing audits to try and win business. Well, the source material argues that we are completely done with that. Instead, you utilize a micro-commitment ladder with paid audits, which acts as a powerful filter. A small paid step weeds out the tire kickers and the tourists. Plus, that initial fee basically becomes a credit toward whatever work you end up building together next.
Now you might be wondering, does this strict, no-nonsense framework actually work in the real world? The numbers from the source material are honestly staggering. To put it into perspective, this system has generated over $100 million in trackable revenue across more than 200 businesses. We're talking about a 10x business growth in a single year for active clients using these paid media strategies. And for the folks providing these services, the average fractional chief revenue officer engagement sits at a very healthy $5,000 a month. So yeah, the numbers absolutely validate the model.
All of this success, the whole shebang, is driven by what they call the three-pillar revenue engine. It's elegantly simple but incredibly hard to master. Discipline, data, results. You need the discipline to stop giving away free work and the discipline to actually follow up. That discipline, it yields clean, actionable data. And then that data, when you apply it to a system like Revenue Recapture, inevitably drives immense results. That is literally the whole game right there.
So that brings us to our final thought for this explainer. It's a question you really need to ask yourself or your clients. Are you ready to stop leaking the revenue you've already paid for? It's time to stop the silence, protect that ad spend, and start recapturing your lost pipeline. If this shift in strategy resonates with you, there's an entire community of over 50 paid members building these exact systems right now over at the Revenue Ronin, and I highly recommend checking out their frameworks. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.